Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. Briefing? Where did that come from? Let's leave it. I'm just in that mood today. How's everyone's week been? It's been okay this week. It's just been a bit meh. This has been one of those weeks in the summer holidays. She's had a lovely week. She's been 3 days in a musical kind of workshop thing, playing her harp and singing and having a fabulous time. I've been doing some work, trying to chart a few things as well, get ahead of the game a little bit for some things that I want to do in the second half of this year, which we're already well into because it's going to be Christmas before you know it. I did get a day to go for a little mooch. I like a little mooch around some of my favourite shops. So I went and had a mooch around there. I've got a few things to show you. If you've seen my Instagram, you might have already seen a couple of things. I've got a couple of finishes. One of them's a bit of a cheap finish because it was so nearly finished last week, and the other one's so small that, you know, it didn't take that long. I've got a list of FlossTubers that I've been watching this week as well, because I haven't done that for quite a while. So I thought I'd just introduce you to some of my friends, some of my favourites. And yeah, let's see what else we've got in this pile. So this is my Stitchy week this week. There we go. Although I've had more time, sort of, this week, I don't feel as if I've accomplished as much. I don't know, I couldn't settle very well this week. So let's have a look. This is my finish, and this is We All Scream. Been stitching on it for weeks and can't remember what it's called. We All Scream by Teresa Koga from her Tier 4 Patreon. Stitched on some 36 count bee's knees by Seraphim. And I just love his kind of vintage look. And I've decided that I am going to finish him on the lid of this tin that I got from IKEA, because he does fit rather well. So it's sort of to the edges there, and there's the top and there's the bottom. And sometimes when you find something that fits, you're better to just go with it. So although I could potentially find a frame, I think I like this box idea, because if I want it to be upstanding, it'll be upstanding, and then it can also sit flat as well. So I think I'm going to finish him onto the top of that box that I got from IKEA. That's the medium size. There is a slightly bigger one and a slightly smaller one as well. That's the rest of the chart for that. We don't need that. What else have I worked on? I have also worked on, I was looking back through my whips and I wanted to get some whips finished, because what I would like to be in a position in October is to be able to choose some new kind of Halloween pieces to start. So I'm trying to finish off a few of the others. So this is by Primrose Cottage. This came out last year. This is called 13 Spooky Smalls, and I had started that one, Hocus Pocus Broom Company. Now it's really small, and I'm doing it on 36 count, so it's even smaller. So the idea is that, if you can see, yeah, you make up the size of the pillow sort of with other fabric as well. So I got that one done just by using my own conversion of sulkies, and there it is, stitched on a piece of 36 count that I hand dyed myself. And then I thought, wow, I'll start a couple of others. So I started this one as well, which is called the Halloween Quilt, which is a really nice little stitch. I didn't get all the way finished on it, but I've only got a couple more rows to go, a couple more diagonals to go, so won't take long, and that'll be quite a nice size, especially if I've got a bit of a border. But I might also turn it into a diamond. I nearly couldn't think of the word then. A diamond. I also then did It's not on the front. This one. See if I can just find a piece of paper. That one. And that's what it looks like there. I've used a slightly darker orange than they used. So they used a brighter orange. I've used a slightly darker sulky orange. And what else did I do? Oh, I started another little tiny one, which is called If the Shoe Fits. And must be in the book as well. The book is kind of like 50-50, sort of orange and black ones, and sort of black, purple, and green ones. It's always going to be on the last place. There we go. So again, it's a small, but you make it a bit bigger if you want to by adding on some extra fabric, which I really like. So I haven't quite finished this one. I've started the shoes and the word shoe. So this is quite often the way I roll. I just have a piece of fabric and I just start stitching little things on it. And then I make them into things eventually. So that's been quite fun. And I discovered, let me just see if I've got them in here. I didn't show you these last week. I discovered these in Tiger. You know that little shop on the high street? I think it used to be called Tiger, but it sells all those things that you never knew you needed. They had these little boxes for £1.50 and they are perfect for just a small selection of sulkies. So I've got all my sulkies that I'm using for this project in this little box. But the thing I've worked on most this week is something I'm really enjoying. Really enjoying. I can't believe it's taken me this long to get around stitching it. And it is Autumn by the Cricket Collection. I also just found Ness had done a Hermione picture and it was in my stitching bag. I love the arms. The arms are my favourite. Anyway, so Autumn. And I've not done too bad with this, except for the fact that I've just left it half a stitch stitched. So let me just pull that one through. Otherwise you'll not see. So the U is almost complete, except it needs a purple hat band for the pumpkin, and there is a half moon, crescent moon at the top there. The M needs a bit of some more bulrushes and it needs some more reeds, but it's one of the ones that's the variegated floss, so I'm having to make a change there. So I just wanted to stitch it just to see what sort of colour it was going to look like. And then the turkey on the end is nearly done, apart from some legs and a few more acorns. I'm going to leave the back stitch till the end. I always leave the back stitch till the end because I stitch in hand. I don't want it to get all sort of out of shape. So I shall leave all the back stitch till the end. And I've just started the T. But I must admit it's gone quicker than I thought it would. I always thought it would be quite a long, big stitch, and actually it's really not as taking as long as I thought it would. Maybe that's because I'm on holiday and I'm not sort of thinking about quite how much time I'm spending on stitching. I also did a little bit of one of the other projects that I had sort of earmarked to try and finish before Halloween, and it's the Halloween Crystal Ball by, is it Tiny Modernist? Yeah, so that's one of the pictures, and we've had all the parts. I've had it for more than a year. Well, a year probably. Get the project out the back, Michelle, rather than just take out half a picture and then put it back. So Oh, that's clever. I managed to sew the two things together with my my needle. There we go. So this is where I am. So it's on a piece of 32 count fabric that I hand dyed. So it's a grey, and then I'd sort of sprayed it a little bit. So I've done quite a lot. I filled in this book down the bottom. I've started on the owl up here. I've put the outline of the house in. The outline of the cat is in better. Most of what needs doing now is just kind of filling in work. So there's a spider that needs to come down here somewhere as well, but a lot of that's backstitch again, so that's why I've left it. And a bit more filling in at the bottom here. So I have got myself into a position where it's just some fill-in, mindless stitching. But I'll get there with that. I'm hoping to get that one finished before November, because as I said, I want to pick out, there's some fabulous charts coming out for the needlework, the online needlework market, which nobody seems to know exactly what it's called. But I can't wait to pick out some new things from there, so I really want to get some of my old stuff finished. What else have we got? I think that's it for stitching. That is it for stitching. So let's just do a quick reminder. Actually, I have got a giveaway running. You'll have to go back to the previous video if you actually want to join in, but I have got giveaways going for Ruthie from Crowsfeet Stitching's newest samplers. So Elizabeth Moore, and there is actually two samplers in there. This is the second sampler that Elizabeth stitched. The first one was a marking sampler, so you get both in that chart. And the second one was Ellen Berry. Now I seem to remember the keywords were berry for this one and squirrel for this one. So if you want to go back to the previous episode and just enter for those, if you hadn't already seen that, then please do. They're PDFs, so I will choose next week a winner for each one, and then we'll get the PDFs out to you. Right, what else have I got to show you? I think, oh, I've got a freebie. As always, I've got a freebie. Now, cunningly, I have put it somewhere very safe. Have I even brought it up? That is the question. Darn it. Darn it, darn it. Yes, I have. It's right at the bottom. Right at the bottom. Here it is. So, as I said to you last week, or maybe even the week before now, the Witchy Stitcher is needing a little bit of love at the moment. And this is a freebie, which I like. I love the border of it. It's very kind of Beetlejuice. So there's the freebie. So perhaps if you were going to her website for the freebie, you might want to have a look and see what other charts she's got. She does have an Etsy shop, and she does have a website. I always try to buy my things from her web shop because I'm pretty sure that she gets more from the web shop than she does from Etsy, because Etsy always takes a commission. So that is the freebie. It's called Sad Pumpkin. It is, let's see how big it is, 70 by 81. So I think it looks fab. So you could go and download a copy of that. Right, I have some haul, sort of, Stitchy Kindness, sort of. It is haul in the fact that I paid for them, but it's Stitchy Kindness in the fact that she sent them to me with a lovely card as well. So these came from Lady Huzzah, who is Lisa, and she was doing a D-stash on one of the it's not specifically an American D-stash site, I can't remember what it's called now, but very often it's full with people from America D-stashing things, and most of the time it just says US postage only. So I saw it was Lisa doing them, and so I messaged her and I said, oh, I really would like those, one in particular, and then I went for a second one in the end because I don't like to travel alone, especially transatlantic. And I said, I'm happy to pay for the postage. Would you pay for it? Would you pay for it? Would you send it? And she said she would. Now I understand why people don't want to do international postage, because normally it's quite expensive, especially if you get it tracked, and also it means that you need to go to a post office, whereas if I'm right in thinking, if it's within the US, you know how much it's going to be and you can just buy a stamp or whatever. But she was very kind and she said, yeah, no problem. You pay for the postage and the charts, and I will I'll put them in for you. So the one that I had particularly wanted is one that I've been after for a while and I hadn't managed to source in the UK, and it's Jane Stanwyck's, and I've always loved Jane Stanwyck's. Now this one has got an NPI, it was stitched in NPI, but it's also got a DMC conversion as well. So I will probably be stitching that in DMC. Well, 100%. I certainly won't be stitching it in NPI because there's probably 15 NPIs on there. So I love that. I've always liked that one. It is stitched on 36 count pecan butter, 131 by 177. So I'm going to have a look. I'm going to do a few calculations and I'm going to just check that there isn't a count of fabric that gives me a standard size frame, because sometimes it's easier to change your count of fabric and then be able to get a standard size frame than it is to be really super set on a piece of fabric and then have to order a custom frame. 9 times out of 10 it's going to be cheaper to change your fabric than it is going to be to change or to get a custom frame, especially in the UK. So I will do some calculations and see if I can hit on a combination, it doesn't always work, that will give me a standard frame. And then because I didn't want it to travel alone, I picked up this one. Now I should have said Jane Stanwyck's was by Samplers Remembered. Nope, Samplers Revisited. Samplers Revisited. This one is Samplers Remembered. This is the red and green carnation sampler, which I love. I've always liked this one as well. These two companies aren't as easy to get hold of in the UK, always. So, and then it has a little Christmas roll there as well if you wanted to make that. Now on the one that Lisa stitched, she did change, I think it was the second alphabet to a little phrase. I'm going to pop a picture, I hope she doesn't mind, I'm going to put a picture up of the one that she stitched and you'll be able to see. So instead of having that second alphabet, she changed it to give her a phrase. But again, I really like that one. So it's a combination of Gentle Arts, Chives and Ruby Slipper and Green Tea Leaf and Weeks Bullfrog. So it's just such a striking sampler. Red and green, love me a red and green sampler. Right, what else have I got to show you? I don't have that much haul this week. I am waiting on 2 or 3 things, but this week we're good. So I'm not sure I've mentioned this to you or not, but I am part of the Lakeside thread club for the classic colourworks. So these are the ones that I've collected so far. I've been in probably about, without counting, maybe 6 or 7 months. And every month I get a little packet of threads. Now they come in alphabetical order. So I am currently on the C's. So I will show you what I've got. I think from memory you get 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, there's 12 in this one. I'm sure it's sometimes, maybe it is 12. thought it was anywhere between 10 and 12. Anyway, have a look on Lakeside. They'll explain it better. So Cottage Garden, which has got these beautiful pinks and greens in. Copper Penny, lovely. Cool Azul, which is like a blue. I forget, this camera needs a bit more time to focus. Cherry Tomato, which is the most un-cherry tomato colour I've ever seen. That's pink. I've never seen a pink cherry tomato. Colonial Rose, which is that nice kind of pinky colour, dusky pink. Colonial Copper. Cocoa Bean. Cobbled Peach. Cloud, which is a bluey grey. Clay Pot, which is another sort of darky pink. Cinnamon Toast. And everyone's favourite, Cherry Cobbler. I love Cherry Cobbler. It's one of my most favourite reds. So, as I said, this month they seem to be kind of like pinks and blues, but it is just done on alphabetical order. So some months you get a complete wide range of colours. This month it just seems to have hit on certain tones. And then the last thing is my little bit of haul from Mooching. I like a mooch. So what did I buy? I've lost one of those somewhere. Don't know where that went. I'll come back to that. I bought a darning mushroom for decor purposes as well, but I do have a kernel of an idea of something to do with a darning mushroom, but yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to come to fruition yet, but I bought a darning mushroom and it's a nice one as well. The woman said there were several in the cabinet, and the woman said, which one do you want? I said, well, I don't know yet. I haven't felt them. And she was like, exactly. So this is the one that I landed on, just a little small one. I then picked up 3 old keys. Now, though eagle-eyed amongst you will see that there's only 2 there. So I don't know what I've done with the other one. It was smaller. It was much smaller. Because I've seen some finishes, and I can't remember which company it is, does them, where you hang little finishes from keys, old keys. And old keys can be quite pricey. So when these were like a couple of quid each, I thought, well, I'm going to get a couple in. I don't know what I've done with the small one. Baffling. So that if the fancy strikes me, I can finish something with a key. And then I picked up a little glass flower frog. I always pick these up when I see them because you can never find one when you want. And there are several finishes, again, like the little trees from Prairie Schooler, the trees from Hello from Liz Matthews, where you're sort of finishing them on a dowel and then you need to put something in the dowel or the dowel into something then to stand upright. So every time I see these, I pick them up. They're only ever 50p or £1, whatever. And then I found this one. I've never found one of these before. This is a uranium glass one. And that means it glows. Now you could see, I didn't even need my black light on this one. And yes, I am one of those people who carries a black light in my handbag. I didn't even really need a black light to see this one was going to glow, but I'll show you what it looks like because I have got my black light here and I have it already switched on because you have to go through a series of very clicky clicks to get it to be its black light. So there it is. Ooh, Halloween spooky. I could do that, couldn't I? There you go. That's super Halloweeny spooky, isn't it? If I was in a different room, I could turn the lights off via the Alexa, but not in this room. And I'm not in the kitchen today because I'd already put the dishwasher on. Look at that. That's spooky, isn't it? And the other thing I put on just to show you, now I don't think this is uranium glass, I think this is what they call custard glass, because it glows a slightly different colour. It glows a bit more yellow, and it's bright, almost like a bright green, but it glows under UV light, and I love those. Anything that glows under UV light, and I am there. So this I was super pleased to find, and I'm going to try and make sure that I get my screenshot doing something crazy with that. Anyway, that's enough from me waffling. Next week I have got a few things I want to chat with you about, so I want to have a look and see what my picks are for the Needlework Market online place expo mabob that is happening. Oh, I forgot one thing. And also I want to talk about my plans for Sample September, which I alluded to last week. But I even took the time to write a big long list of FlossTubers that you might be interested in. And now I can't find them. There they are. Let me go through these very quickly. So, who have I been watching? Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitch. Nearly forgot it. Remembered it. Now can't speak. Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Lady Hussar Presents. So Lisa, who sent me the brochures over the leaflets, patterns, charts, words. I'm going to start making like a little fill-in so you can just pick out the right words. Amy Loves Toes. I always love watching Amy. She picks the best projects. I love all her projects. Alba Stitcher Amanda, she has been working on Quakers quite a lot, and she's been doing a monthly series of Quakers, which she said herself she can't believe she's stuck with, and they're a serious feat every month, so she's done so well with those, and I can't wait to see them all together. Mischievous Stitches Laurie, I enjoy watching her, and Handwork Maniac as well. Handwork Maniac Brenda is just a masterclass of big projects and how to handle them, how to keep up with them, how to keep going month after month and meeting your goals on them. And I love watching her. She's fab. Someone new, Stitching in My Pyjamas, Beth. Now she had got some serious sampler envy, or I had some serious sampler envy with her. She's done some beautiful, beautiful things. Really, like a serious sampler stitcher. She's fabulous. Not serious in her presenting, but she's like a really, you know, proper neat and tidy back stitches, specialty stitches. Loved it. Exactly who I want to be when I grow up. Brenda and Nora, obviously. Made by Michelle McGraw, and a new FlossTuber from the UK who is called Just So Sherry. Now she is fabulous. She is fabulous. She's originally from Scotland, but she has spent much more time in the northeast by the sounds. So she's got a fabulous accent. She's so funny, and great projects. Just go watch her. You'll love her. You'll love her. She starts off with a whip parade, so yeah, she's great. She was at the retreat that I was at a couple of weeks ago as well, but we didn't get to chat. And now if you watch her video, she'll tell you why. Anyway, I'm definitely going this time. See you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.